The Cypher with your light.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
To me, MC, move the crowd.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
To me, MC, move the crowd.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Greetings once again. 2024. Welcome back to the Into the Cypher podcast. I am your host, the guy himself, Cypher Da MC, the Muhammad Ali of MCs. I had to break in the new year the right way. I had to fumble around with equipment and things of that nature and kind of make sure my mic was right, camera and all that sort of stuff. A lot has changed, still on this journey to be the best version of ourselves. But of course, before we get into anything, before we get into today's episode, now that we have fully come into 2024, new season 3, I wanted to make sure that we approach things this season and moving forward better. And what I mean by better is basically attacking those little areas of our lives that impact who we are, what shapes us. Things from a financial perspective, which we'll be talking about today just a little bit. But of course, before we get into anything, got to get our disclaimers out the way. I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist. I'm not a family therapist or person that talks to people for a living. Well, I kind of do that, but I really don't. I don't have any, degrees on my wall. I don't have any masters or doctorates from Harvard. I am just a regular Joe Schmo. So anything in this episode it's not financial advice, it's not legal advice. These are mere suggestions through observations of my own personal journey, and maybe you can take something away from it that you can apply to your own lives. And anything that I put that I talk about, for the most part, links will be down in the description box below, so that way you can definitely kind of go back and reference it and see if it works for you. I even realized during this journey, and especially since last season, that everything doesn't work for everyone else. My way may not work for you. Your way may not work for the next person. But we have to at least assess what can work and what may not work, sometimes through trial and error, and try to apply it to our lives. So that way we don't necessarily just say, well, no, I don't want to do that. That's not for me. Everything may not be for you, but you can spend 90 minutes in a conference and about 85 of those minutes, that's not going to work for me. I can't apply that to my life. But those last 5 minutes, or maybe 5 minutes somewhere in between, maybe I can apply that. And that's what I implore you to do, whether you're listening to this on, one of the many channels that the podcast is streamed on. Take something from each episode and apply it to your lives. Trust me, it will make a difference. It hasn't been quite the road taken so far for me of adventure or anything such as that. Since the last season, a few things have changed, and I'll get into that a little bit later on in the episode. But I wanted to address the elephant in the room. I always ask, why is the elephant in the room? I just really don't. Who put it there?
What?
Like, what? How did it get in? It must be a baby elephant. But anyway, I must address the elephant in the room. It's 2024. And believe it or not, I'm fully excited, not only for myself, but for each and every one of you listening, because it's kind of like we understood 2023, what went on, what occurred in our individual lives. 2024, you want to kind of take something from 2023 that was positive, that was motivating, and bring it over to 2024 and build on that. It's all about building. It's all about building. If we don't start with a good foundation, then eventually what we're trying to build will crumble. And we don't want to be, poor builders. Like for today, what are you planning for 2024? Do you have a set goal in mind? Do you have things that you've written down that you want to accomplish for this year? And I say for this year because, remember, this is a marathon that we're running. It's not a sprint. We do have to take one step at a time. You have your large, grand scheme of things that you want to maybe do or accomplish. But within that process, there are smaller processes that have to build upon each other. Stepping stones, if you will. And keep in mind that there's always a process between the stepping stones. For every stepping stone, for every goal that you meet, there is a process that you have to kind of go through to get to that next stepping stone. So what are your goals? What are your plans? I myself, I'm like, well, this will be the year that I really go full diving into structuring my businesses, the right way. I've been kind of tentative. I will admit that. It's kind of, starting here, starting there with the whole LLC, this and EIN number. But then as I educated myself more, I realized, I don't have everything set up the way that it needs to be set up in order for it to be run correctly, in order for it to be run not really on autopilot, but without me looking over anyone's shoulder to make sure things are done the right way. So I myself had to kind of say, pump your brakes. Take it easy there, Cypher. You're kind of going things, you have things in place, but it's kind of like a large puzzle. You have some pieces here, you have this corner done, but you also realize that you're missing some pieces still. And you have to put them in the right order, or else you're going to be looking at the puzzle and wasting time wondering, where did the pieces go? So even I had to kind of take a step back between the end of last season and beginning of this season. And, I said, you know what? Let me talk to the nation. Let me talk to the nation and try to see exactly where we are as far as what is 2024 going to look like for you. What do you want it to shape up to be? And if we can just have a conversation, I would love that. As always on any of my channels, definitely reach out, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, comments below. Let me know what your 2020, what do you want it to look like? What do you want it to shape up to be? Exactly. Remember, we have to be exact. We have to be completely and 100% invested. There can't be, any fencers. I call them fencers because these are people that are just on the fence. I might do that. I don't know. It's something I was thinking about. Stop thinking. Let me slow my roll for a second. Let me butter my biscuit for a second here. One of my goals for myself is to be financially free. I know, that's everyone's goal, right? There's millions of people trying to say, hey, how to make money online, how to be, this type, do this industry, do this industry. I mean, the road to being financially free is not an easy one, nor is it impossible. I mean, face it, we were all not taught about money or how to handle finances initially, nor were we brought up in money. Most of us were not. You know, if we came, you know, if you were an immigrant to this country, you did not know about money. You just knew how to work hard. And what you build and things of that nature, you taught the next generation. But of course, the impact of technology has made things easier for us. So for the most part, it may not be as hard to create, you know, any type of financial stability, but you still have to put some work into it. I mean, so learning about, you know, finances and money and or how to handle it or investments, it's new, it's scary, but it's also exciting. It's going down a different path than the one that you normally would have gone down. But guess what? That's the best part. You're forging a new path towards learning about something that you may not have as much familiarity with. Granted, we all know about money. We all know what it's used for. We know the basics. But as far as educating ourselves on how to leverage it to the best that we can for our best benefit, that most of us were never taught. We were never taught that. And we have to understand a few things as we take this journey from, you know, into 2024 and beyond. So here are 3 things that I'd like for us to cover today. Number 1, start. That is the best thing. That's the first thing that you have to do, is just start. Don't worry about, you know, if it's the right time. Don't worry about, oh my gosh, what do I need to do? Do I do this? Do I do that? Just start. Start figuring out, hey, if I want to save $10,000 this year, let me break it down per month, every 2 weeks, how much I would need to save in order to reach that goal. And then you can decide which way works for you, of course. Do I want to approach this goal like every 3 months? I should have this amount saved. You could break it down into quarters. That's what I do. I look at everything as a quarter now, just the way that businesses do. You know, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. So right now we're in the first quarter, the first 3 months of the year. So I myself, if I had a goal of $10,000, then of course I would want to have $2,500 saved by the end of the first quarter. So by the end of March, I should have $2,500 saved. You would look at your budget, figure out things that you don't need, things that you can cut back on, and things of that nature. Because if you're trying to save $10,000, you have to know what you're saving it for. Is it for an investment? Is it for a vacation? Is it for, something that you maybe just want to see if you can do it? But whatever it is, you have to just start it. Start a business. Going back to school, start. We have to stop talking about it and just start something. Number 2, invest in your financial education. Listen, I get it. Most people don't like to read. Hence, audiobooks have been invented and are quite good and things of that nature, especially if you have a good memory about things or you're a good note taker. But books, I feel, are still a critical learning tool for anything. And the more that you read something, the more that you attune to it, you begin to use those principles in those books. I'll leave these in the description box below, but here are some of the books that you may want to just kind of, take a look at if it's something that you're interested in about not only improving your financial situation currently, but also improving your financial outlook. You have Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I know many of you have probably heard of this book and things of that nature, and many of the gurus or people who are successful entrepreneurs stand behind this book as being pivotal in their lives on their journey to financial freedom. The Psychology of Money. I myself, I'm ordering this book. I'm ordering this book here. I Will Teach You to Be Rich. These are just 3 of many books that I would say you should have in regular rotation. So you can actually, and I mean physical books now. I don't mean, the audio books and things of that nature, because you want to dedicate time. You want that time is an investment into your financial education. So that way you can say, you know what, I'm designating 30 minutes today to reading this book. Whether you're trying to read all of one book or you're spreading it out. Hey, I read chapter 1 of this book today. Tomorrow I'm going to read chapter 1 of another book. However you decide to do it, invest in your financial education. Whether it's courses online, there's plenty of free courses online. I wish I had that information here available as far as those courses, but they're out there. And you just have to kind of take the time to say, you know what? I don't want to go into 2024 the same way that I left 2023. I don't want to be 6 months into 2024 grumbling about money, wondering why am I working paycheck to paycheck? Oh, the rat race, and all this sort of stuff. When I could have started in January, doing the very things that likely would get me to a better point in the middle of the year. It's funny how we never look at a year as the same thing, depending on when you're looking at it. Here's what I mean. At the beginning of the year, like January, oh my gosh, it's January. Wow. There's so much I want to do this year. I have a lot of time. December of the same year. Wow, where did this year go? Wow, I didn't accomplish anything this year. And then you start trying to do New Year's resolutions and all that sort of stuff, and I, for one, am not a big New Year's resolution guy. Studies show that within the first week, most people who made resolutions, whether it's to stop smoking, to work out more, to cut back on whatever, they fall back into the same routines within a week. There's a very, very rarely a small percentage that go through with their resolutions and, get it done, accomplish something. We are a results-driven society. Each and every one of us, we like to see results, because then that's the barometer or the bar that we use to say, hey, all right, I got some results on this. Hey, I lost 5 pounds. I'm on my, way to, lose the weight that I, plan on losing. My goal is 20 pounds by March. I lost 5 pounds, 15 more to go. You weigh yourself in the next week or so. I lost 1 pound. Or, I may have gained 2 pounds. I'm not doing something right. Oh, I quit. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And lastly, number 3, work on something small, achievable goals. If your goals are achievable, you won't have those moments where you're going to feel like quitting. Don't have some big astronomical goal. Oh, I'm going to save $5,000 this month. And you didn't budget anything out, and you didn't, mark out anything. You're still doing the same things that you were doing, eating out every other day. You have 25 subscriptions to, all these streaming services, most of which you don't even do, watch or anything. You don't know where your money's going. You don't have any investments lined up. You're all over the place. Start small. Just stop. Start small. An achievable goal. Something that you can say, hey, within these 3 months, I want to have read, fully read one book. I want to have something in place that where I am, having something done. I'm having a goal approached or something invested that I don't have to actually maybe spend a lot of time on. For example, if you're trying to work on your credit this year, let's say you want a house. That's the end goal. But in order to get there, you know that you have to have a certain credit score. Trust me, cash is no longer king. Credit is king. So you want to improve your credit, right? Working on your credit is something that we all want to do. We all want to get to that 700-800 credit score, whereas we're actually saving hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars in interest and additional monies because our credit is in good standing versus it not being in good standing currently. There are many programs out there. There are many companies that will, charge you, whatever fee to say, hey, we can help you with your credit. You pay us $100 or whatever a month or whatever. The charges vary, depending on what you go or anything, but you find one that works for you. Find one that will get you the results that you need. But doing nothing has gotten you this far. So don't overthink, don't second guess, and don't procrastinate. These are the biggest killers to motivation. If you're motivated to working on your credit or things of that nature, there's a link in my description of a do-it-yourself program that is very budget friendly, that will help you by giving you the resources and the education that you need in order to not only how to eliminate your debt, eliminate those erroneous things that may be harming your credit and keeping you, from that goal that you want and maybe keeping you up at night. And, you can definitely say, hey, you know what? It's time to make a change. You don't want to start 2024 the way that you ended 2023. Guys, it has been an amazing journey. It will continue to be an amazing journey each and every day that you take a step towards being the best version of yourself. Understand that you yourself, you are a priority. You have to make yourself a priority. You have to value yourself. You have to value and invest in yourself in order to be and continue to be where you want to go and who you want to be. So until next time, and as always, before you love anyone else, you must first love yourself. Thank you for tuning in, and I'm out this thing.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is